name's Partridge from Partridge Design, and this is my daily ride. So this whole project started a couple years back when I built this for Goblin Works, the TV show I do for Discovery Channel. And I built it, well, I didn't build it. A mate of mine, Steve from Red Max, kind of put it together for me for the show to race at Dirtquake. While I was filming, I got there, raced it, crashed it, broke my shoulder, broke the bike. It was left sat for 6-7 months, and so I finally had the chance to get it ready and build it for myself. So this is kind of what I built. The whole kind of overall design of the thing, it all started from this tank. It was a Red Max tank. It's an aluminum tank. This shape of the tank is actually the original, but I wanted it to run. Steve had put it together using an aftermarket fuel pump. And so that means the tail section that he had on there was raised up, and the seat height was really high. It was about 4 or 5 inches off the frame. And I'm not a tall guy, and you know, to really keep the bike under control, I like to have it kind of a low seat height. So first off was to fit the original fuel pump, the Sportster fuel pump, into this tank. It's not huge, but it's too big for the width of the tank. It wouldn't go in without going into the tunnel or coming out this way. So what we decided to do was chop this out and build a flange and put the fuel pump in. But then I was left with this big chunky square bit on the side, and I thought, okay, well, how do I either blend this all in or we make it a feature? So made it kind of a Frankenstein feature, and then decided to kind of go a little bit ape shit with the design and added all these bits. These are all cosmetic. They don't actually go into the tank. This is structural of the tank with the flange underneath. This butt is actually functional as well. A buddy of mine did the final welding on this, and hence we got a little bit of leakage, but that's all right. I don't care. It's my own bike. We're going to sort that out one day. And then that came down to the tail section, and the tail section kind of ended up with this shape because I fabbed all the pieces together, and then I tacked them all up, but I didn't have, my welder was broke. I was down at another guy's place, and so he took it to one of his friends to do all the final welding, and when it came back, the welds were really massive, and I lost all the edginess of this design. So what I did was I took all the welds right back, and then I kind of chamfered all the edges to kind of make it look like almost like a block of billet, like it was machined. People still ask me what I machined it out of, but it's just 3mm alley plate. Kellerman were nice enough to sponsor us with some indicators. They're all in one: brake, tail light, indicators, and they're the smallest you can buy, which is super cool. The pipes, originally what I wanted to do, I wanted to go 2 into 1. But like I said, I was building this at a friend's place, and he didn't really have that much material, and I had one day to get this done for the bike shed show. So I had to get the pipes done, I had to get the wheel done, I had to get the front fairing finished. So there was a lot to do in one day. And in the end, they turned out really well, and I'm really happy with them. So they're going to stay like that. People ask, do they burn your leg? They don't. I had some, when I was racing it at the Malle Mile, I put some heat tape on here just in case. But not once did my leg get hot. And even now the heat tape's gone, my leg is just fine. So I've had a lot of people ask, oh yeah, it's going to burn your leg. Why do you build pipes like that? Why do you make them there? You know, they don't burn your leg. I've got rear sets on there. You kind of ride like this, and you don't get near it, so it's all good. The front number plate fairing, whatever you want to call it, I didn't really know what to do with that either, because when I built it, I knew I wanted this shape, so I kind of made all the bits, and I made it out of cardboard, and then I made it up in alley, and then I tacked it all together. I knew I was going to put the bolts with lock wire on them to kind of hold it down to the bracket I made for the back, but I didn't plan on putting a headlight in there. I was going to put one in, and then I wasn't, and then I was again. But then when I saw it all finished and done and on the bike, I was like, you know what? I can't ruin that. So I'm still gonna figure out, I don't know where to put the headlight. I was thinking maybe put a light bar in here, an LED light bar, maybe up top, or maybe off to the side maybe on, I don't know where yet. But right now I just ride it in the daytime, and if I ride it at night, I'll duct tape my flashlight to the handlebars, I suppose. Some people ask why the wheel's blue. So originally that had 19 spoke front and back for flat track racing. So the front wheel didn't have a hub that would take the brake discs. So for the bike shed show, and because Ribofini gave me these lovely hand controls, I needed to put brakes on it to show off, you know, their lovely controls, and actually to have brakes for the street. So because I needed to get to the bike shed show the next day where I was working, the guy forgot to order my hub. So I went to go get the hub, and he's like, I don't have it. So I had to make a split-second decision and use the original Harley wheel, because it was 19 and it was ready for the double disc. And then I thought the original wheel was quite ugly, so I thought if I blast a bunch of, you know, mad color at it, it might kind of stick out, and it might, you know, take your eyes away from kind of the stock wheel. So the tires, I put these tires on to race at the Malle Mile because I had the flat track tires on it before. But then when I put them on, the bike just looked really sinister. So I thought, shit, I'm just gonna leave them. They're not that great in the street, but if you like getting the back end out sideways and going kind of flat out around corners, they're great tires because they love to get just completely sideways on any corner you go around. You got to be a little careful at the front because you know you can't really tip it in too hard. But if you like riding flat track style on the street, perfect tires. So originally this bike came with mid sets, and that was all right. But because I was originally going to ride this and race this flat track, I wanted to put rear sets on it. So and I wanted a bit of a different riding position. So Roland Sands hooked up some nice foot controls. He's about the only person on the planet that makes bolt-on rear sets for sportsers. So yeah, Roland hooks up with some nice foot controls. Olin's with the shocks. It's quite a good riding position. You know, I quite like sat here. I built it for me, so I'm the only one sitting on it. I'm going to change these handlebars as well. It's not quite done. They're the only ones I could find, again, for the bike shed show. I had to have it finished. So what I'm going to do is put something with a little bit more pullback and a little bit skinnier, because I did the DGR the other day, and we were, you know, whipping through traffic, and I thought, these are a little bit too wide. It's all right for racing, but for riding, I'm going to change those and put something with a little bit more pullback and a little bit skinnier. A lot of people ask me what this bike is. Obviously, it's a 1200 Sportster. Well, not obviously, because everyone asks what it is. It's a 2016 1200 Roadster. My buddies at EMD, Nico, sent me these old Ironhead replica rocker box covers. But yeah, you've got the EMD cover on this side, kind of give it that vintage race feel. So the hand controls on this bike are made by Ribofini. They're an Italian company, and in my opinion, they are the best manufacturers of aftermarket Harley parts. Well, you can just see in the construction, they're just, you know, it's just quality. There's no play in the levers whatsoever, and they're just, it's plug and play, it's CAN bus, so you just literally touch a button and you're ready to go. Start, stop, horn, indicators, and you can have more buttons for more controls depending on what you wanted. I wanted as little as possible on this. Yeah, they just work and they're gorgeous. The anodizing stays black for forever. It doesn't turn purple or green or a different color with time, whereas a lot of anodized parts do. These guys they just know how to build really slick stuff. So that's about it, really. I've got a little bit more to do on this bike. Obviously, I got to fix the tank. I've got to make some side panels. I want those kind of to fit in with the bike, so I'm going to make some really edgy alley side panels. I'm going to modify the swing arm because I think it's the stock swing arms for the Sportsters are a little bit skinny. And they're quite heavy, so I'll probably make one out of alley. And so I guess there's only one thing left to do is take it outside and start it up and scare all the clients, because this thing is ridiculously loud. That's another thing I gotta do. I'm gonna cut this section of pipe out, and I'm gonna weld in some baffles, because I think I'm just too old for loud pipes now. Like, I don't mind loud pipes, but these, when you hear in a minute, they are ridiculously loud. Like, I mean, they're borderline obnoxious. So that's another thing to the list. But let's take it outside and fire it up and let you have a listen. So yeah, we got her outside. Let's piss off some people on the terrace, I guess.